So hours to date is 653, and I got a finished forecast date of 11/2 of 2030. If you've been keeping track, that date moved by about a month. I did not put a whole lot of time in the shop the week before last. I did get a fair amount of time in the shop this past week, but because of the short amount of time the week before, wasn't really worth posting a video. So just compiled the 2 weeks together to produce this one. Anyway, the first part of this video is working on the FlyLED light boards for the wingtips. They're a little finicky. They're not too bad. It's just a fair amount of on and off to make sure that you get the fastener holes in the right spot, and then rivet those nut plates on so that they attach correctly. Took the grinder and ground everything down to make sure that it was a nice contour fit to not only the wingtips, but I also left a beveled edge on the edge of the FlyLED light boards so that when the lens goes on, there's no interference between the lens and the light board. So turned out looking really good, really sharp. I'm very happy with how that turned out. And this bit right here is actually a waste of time. Took me a minute to figure that out, but I was trying to figure out how to get a flat surface on the bottom of the wingtips. So I used the flat portion of my garage concrete slab to create a flat portion, and then realized that you actually need to measure off of the bevel that is formed into the wingtips to cut them down. So I will probably try to give some brief advice here. The trim down of the wingtips is extremely intimidating. They're expensive pieces. Basically, if you screw up and you cut too much off, there is no going back. However, if you take some time, for me, it was probably about 2 hours, maybe three total, of just thinking through what does it need to look like, where does it need to bump towards the end of the wing. In other words, where do you indent the cutout portion to make room for things like the aileron hinge bracket and the aileron itself? If you think in terms of where does the cut need to go towards the wing tip edge, as opposed to trying to Lego the thing in the top of your head, it's a whole lot easier to just try to think about it that way. So I went through the right wing very, very carefully. I don't have to look at the right wing. I do have to look at the left wing. So I took my time on the right wing, got the wingtip trimmed appropriately, and then switched over and trimmed the left wing. I did misread the directions. It does say that there is a minimum gap of 3/16 of an inch between the edge of the wingtip and the outside face of the aileron. I read that as a maximum span, so I need to go back this coming week and trim that a little bit. But all in all, really happy with how the trimming came out, and should be starting to be able to mount those next week. Other than that, that's it.